Hey, good morning. Drew Trafton here with you for your morning headlines. Long time no see. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Let's get you your news. So, overnight, there were two fires that took place that the Fargo Fire Department responded to. They kept them on scene for a while, from late last night into early this morning. Let's start with the more serious one. That one was at the Countryside Trailer Court. That was at about 11:16 last night. That one started. Crews got there right away, but they said the whole home went up in about 15 minutes, so that there wasn't much they could do there. The good news is nobody was hurt. We are still working to learn this morning just the details on how many people lost their home in that fire, and the total estimate of damage for that fire, and of course how it started. The other fire that we wanted to let you know about, that took place on 12th Street North, about 2 blocks northeast of where Fargo Brewing Company is, and pretty close to that Family First supermarket there in downtown Fargo. That involved a garage. We know that one person was checked out there, but they were okay, so there were no official reported injuries there. That garage did have some damage. From what we understand, it was mostly smoke damage, but we are still learning again kind of what the causes of that fire and how much damage was done exactly. So we'll stay on top of that for sure. Some other things you probably need to know about this morning. If you live in West Fargo and you're about to commute to work, you should be aware that 52nd Avenue South is going to be closed from 68th Street to the Cheyenne River. The reason for that is there's a major asphalt project that's getting done on the bridge on 52nd Avenue South, and that's going to take place over the next few days. So they're going to be working on that until at least Thursday. So just be aware, there is a detour in place, but it might slow down traffic there. And then another road project is taking place on NP Avenue in downtown Fargo. That one's from Broadway to 8th, and that one is for a water main repair. However, that's just for today. So if you can avoid that area, that'd be great. Otherwise, there is a detour on First Avenue North for you. Big news for the Grand Forks School District. The board yesterday bought 2 parcels of land for the Career Academy, the Impact Academy there, which is pretty great. The one is by the Grand Forks Inn and Suites, the former Grand Forks Inn and Suites, and the other one is off of 42nd Street North. So they're going to use those areas for the academy. They had an architecture firm already design out the academy and everything. And so now what they need to do is the bidding process. And that's going to happen pretty quickly because they want that whole thing built and ready to go by the spring of 2025. So we'll start to see some serious movement on that. And something that should help that along is North Dakota now has federal funding on career academy projects in the state. There are 13 across the state that will split up about $68 million in federal funding. The state had already approved funding for those projects, their portion of those projects, back in 2021 during that special session in November of 2021. And so they're waiting on the federal funding to come through for the entirety of the funding for these projects. But the good news was the state was able to keep moving forward with these projects because it just gave out a line of credit so construction could continue and everything could stay on schedule. So some good news there. We also heard from Minnesota's Department of Health on COVID. The department has been tracking COVID cases since March of 2020, so more than 3 years now. And it has decided to stop tracking those case numbers. It's still going to track the serious ones. It's still going to track cases involving deaths. But in terms of just overall case numbers, the state says it doesn't feel like that's the best way to track how COVID is impacting the state right now, mostly due because of all the state centers being shut down. So at-home testing is what's driving those numbers now, and we know that that's not necessarily the most reliable way to do that. Also, of course, it's no longer a national health emergency. That expired last month, and so funding's drying up for it as well. So they're going to just follow those more serious ones. Tonight, if you're into listening to live music, a lot of really good concerts are going to be taking place by local bands in Moorhead at Memorial Park. So that's the one by the old Usher's house downtown there. They're going to be doing their free concert series. Post-Traumatic Funk Syndrome is playing. I believe they're starting at 5:30 tonight down there. That's free. Also, And Detroit Lakes and Otter Tail, they're also having free concert series nights. There will be food to purchase there. Those events get kicked off between 5:30 and 7, so you can find details there. The one in Detroit Lakes by the band Shell, I know that, and in Otter Tail it's at City Park. So fun stuff there. And then Grand Forks, the park district there is hosting a free fishing event for families tonight. You can find that one at the lake that's right south of South Middle School there, and that runs from 5:30 to 7:30. Families are invited. It's a catch and keep day, so if you catch a fish out there, you get to keep it. So a pretty cool deal. They stocked that lake with, I think, 400 different fish. In national news today, of course, the big story is going to be the arraignment of former President Donald Trump. That's scheduled to happen at 2 p.m. Central Time. A lot of attention is being paid to what's going to be happening outside of the courthouse today, because there are large estimates on the number of people that are expected to be outside of that courthouse protesting today. Miami's police department says they're ready, they're prepared for it, but we'll be watching that. The former president's going to answer to 37 counts. Some 31 of them ranging, included in the Espionage Act, which of course doesn't mean spying. There are broad terms included in there. Trump will be the first former president to be indicted in federal court. Don't expect to see any video or pictures or anything like that, though, because federal court, and this is across the board, any federal courthouse, the one that's a few blocks away from me right now, is the same with this. No cameras are allowed inside a federal court. So, and very few cell phones are allowed in a federal court. So it'll be those pictures that we see, those drawings that we get from time to time, and we'll get word after about what's happening. There won't be live tweeting that will be going on or anything like that. So turn to ABC News, inform.com, WDAY will have all those updates for you later tonight, if you're interested in that story. Another really interesting story that took place that we're getting word about is a declassified report that was requested by Ron Wyden, who is a U.S. Senator from Oregon, and it looks at what cell phone data and other smart devices you have. We're talking about like your earbuds, your smart watches, things like that. Your smartphones, of course, are tracking, and who's buying that information from these companies that gather it. And the report found that U.S. intelligence agencies are some of the groups that are actually buying this information up. So he is asking that Congress now pass legislation that would limit what sort of information is purchased and who it can be sold to. One of the main concerns he brought up is, well, what about foreign intelligence agencies buying up American data, things like that. So kind of a furtherance of that conversation we've seen play out about TikTok, other social media companies. This extends now to the devices that we all carry around with us every single day. So kind of an interesting thing there that we'll keep an eye on for you. And then also we wanted to let you know there's been a big sports announcement that's being teased out in Minnesota today. So in the Twin Cities at Target Center at this morning, I believe at 10:30 this morning, it might be 11:30. There's a big announcement that's going to take place about a major event coming to the Twin Cities for sports. Now, there are already a few major events on tap already for this next year, even. We know that the Big Ten men's and women's championships for basketball are going to be in the Twin Cities, and then the ice hockey championship for the NCAA is going to be in Minnesota next year, too. So this one's going to be at Target Center. We're not sure if that's a clue on what it could be, but kind of interesting to keep an eye out for it. Also wanted to let you know, with sports, Dom Izzo, Hot Mic with Dom Izzo, is coming up from 9 to 11 on WDAY Extra today. I know one big interview he has is with the first major commitment to North Dakota State University basketball for 2024. You can call it a big commitment if you want, because the guy is like 6'10", and he's going to be phoning in. I think he lives in Lincoln, Nebraska, or Omaha, and he's going to be joining Dom via Zoom today, so you'll be able to watch that actually and get to know him a little bit better. And then just keep an eye out on inform.com all day. We've got updates for you on some major stories, one of which is a story that WDAY brought you last night. The the Classic Touch nightclub, which has been a point of contention for the city of Moorhead, is going to be moving officially now to Dilworth, and they're going to do it very, very quickly. The city council there approved the liquor license, and it's going to be going in where the VFW was just as a few weeks ago before that closed down in Dilworth, so that space is going to be occupied now. It's in a different sort of spot than Classic Touch was operating before. It's not near homes. And so that seems to be a win-win all the way around for those folks there. The city of Dilworth's happy about it, and the city of Moorhead was considering revoking that liquor license. So you can read more about that right now on inform.com. All right, everybody, keep an eye out for wildfire smoke today. Apparently that's going to be starting to move in. Tomorrow's when we're really going to notice it, but that constant summer companion's coming back, and we're going to be close to about 90. We have full details on inform.com as well, also on our free Storm Tracker app. All right, everybody, have a good day. We'll have news at 11 on WDAY.